was another drive-by shooting today downtown. It appears to be gang shooting of an unarmed. There are no suspects yet.
In the city of Los Angeles, illegal aliens are demanding to end all deportations because it breaks up their families. The Los Angeles City Council has recently passed a resolution to demand that President Obama stop all deportations. Yet there is no mention at all of the American families that have been destroyed because an illegal alien has killed a member of their family. This is a special report from the Justice Channel about the Day of Remembrance in Los Angeles, California.
But it's with me every day. It makes me fight even harder for you. I was fighting before that. In 2005, I got involved, and this happened to be in 2008. So I'm with you, and it's not going to go away. And we have to stay bonded, connected, and bring other people forward, too. And we have been. Tonight's a wonderful group. We have about 45 or so.
And they still had to do their job. His best friend, the motorcycle cop that Dominic wanted to work with later on, he had the sharp mind to say, I can't take this case. I have to get highway patrol. So nobody could later say, oh yeah, they were friends. We gotta, that case was fixed. So the firemen came. They all knew him. It was what I was told, and I was out of the state. He dropped us off the night before at the airport, and I got my last hug and kiss from him. People didn't know what to do, what to say. It's just like Jamil said, you're in this fog. You say, no, he can't be dead. I just talked to him last night. So anyway, long story short, Soon was arrested. He was put into the Riverside jail. He got bailed out. He got to walk around even though he was illegal and had prior arrest records. And he had 2 DUIs that he was on probation for. Matter of fact, that day, sadly, he wasn't drunk. I wish I was there. I would have given him a shot. Because then it turned into a misdemeanor. It would have been a felony. So it's a misdemeanor without gross negligence. And he was then, after he served a few days in jail, he was taken into ICE hold, and he was released on a $10,000 bail. Somebody paid $10,000. Now this guy is a day laborer. I have no money. Speaks no English, has no money. He did show up for the first few court hearings and so forth, and the judge made a deal with him. If he pleads guilty, he gets 90 days. So we had letters after letters to the judge. We did the victim impact panel. We talked, we spoke. We had everybody in there crying, even the judge. And the judge said at the end when he ruled, he said, well, I gave him my word, so I'm going to have to stick by my word. That's when I lost all feeling, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm an immigrant. I did it the right way. My son did nothing but good, was a citizen. Where's his word to him that he should be saved? So the guy got his 90 days. I lost it. I don't remember much of that day. The judge openness, because of all the media and everything, he's still in there. He would have been released quite a while ago. But I make sure I'm up there and he can see my face, because I'm not going anywhere until I wave him. And I'm going to not do this here, but I have a special finger for him that I'm going to wave when he's in the plane. 2 special fingers. So right now, as it stands, he appealed 3 times because he might get tortured in Guatemala. No, Mr. Toon, you get tortured here if you stay, so you need to go. He had all kind of other appeals. He got all these rights. It gets dragged out. In the meantime, his family gets to visit him, and they get to hold hands and just, talk about what they're going to do when he gets out.
Eric was born on the 24th of this month in 1988. That year, Thanksgiving fell on his birthday. So that's why I called him my turkey baby. And once he got a little older, he ended up having a turkey butt. In 21 days, we're supposed to be celebrating his 25th birthday, but alas, we're not. All because of an illegal who had no regard for Americans killed him. Eric was a very active child and young man. He was always going. He hated being still, literally. I wanted to tie him sometimes. His big blue eyes were hypnotizing, and he never, ever knew a stranger. He talked to anyone who would talk to him. All that disappeared beginning August 11th, 2011. My son was taking his girlfriend home at 9:23 p.m. when an illegal turned left into my son. This illegal invader, by the way, I never say this man's name because he's not a man and he's not a human being in my eyes. He came to this country illegally. He's been working illegally and driving illegally, delivering newspapers. Previously to August 11th, the illegal invader pled guilty to driving without a license, not once, not twice, but 3 times prior to hitting my son. At the scene of the accident, he was cited yet a 4th time for driving illegally. The illegal invader lied repeatedly to the sheriff's department when he later gave his statement of the events that night. He lied when he said he wasn't delivering papers. When the illegal invader turned left into my son, it was because he was distracted by delivering his newspapers. He further intimidated his co-worker, telling him not to talk to the police because the police would deport them both. But this illegal invader, he knew he would not get deported, as he repeatedly broke U.S. federal and state laws without any repercussions. And the very moment he's in this country, he's breaking the law and he's still getting away with it. While my son was hospitalized, he had a craniectomy where they had to remove a large part of his skull on his right side, since the pressure from the head trauma he sustained could not be controlled with medication. A few days later, they had to take my baby into surgery. I don't cry in public, sorry. To put a rod in his lower leg as it was shattered by the illegal invaders turning into him. My son was in a coma for 4 very long weeks until God came. Until God came to take him on September 8th at 6:45 a.m. Like you, Jamil, some days are good, some days are bad. This is a bad one. I held his hand until he took his last breath, until his heart thumped its last beat. At this time, while my baby was still hospitalized, fighting for his life, the illegal invader was driving around working, delivering newspapers, and doing whatever the hell he wanted. And continues, to this day, to drive illegally throughout Southern California. He lives in Whittier, by the way. I had to fight the Yucaipa Sheriff's Department to even work the case. I had to fight the San Bernardino DA's office to even press charges. And then to be told that the only thing that they could charge him with was a misdemeanor vehicular homicide without negligence. How the hell can you call it this without being this be without negligence? This illegal invader knew he wasn't allowed in this country. He knew he wasn't allowed to work in this country. And he definitely knew he wasn't supposed to drive, especially with the 3 prior convictions of driving without a license. To make matters worse, when discussing the plea deal with the assistant DA, I was told that the illegal invader would get 180 days work release with 3 years probation. I was appalled at this deal, but the ADA explained to me that if we went to trial, the maximum sentence that the illegal invader would receive is a mere 1 year in jail. And with the mass overcrowding, the illegal invader would only do a few hours prior to release. The ADA explained to me that the illegal invader accepted the deal he would definitely do the 180 days of weekend work release, in addition to the 3 years probation. I even asked the ADA at the last pretrial hearing, this is 180 days plus, and I did emphasize the word plus, 3 years probation, correct? And he said, yes. Several weeks later, I got a call from the probation officer who explained to me that the 180 days was stayed pending completion of 3 years probation. So basically I was lied to by the ADA, and this illegal killer is going to get away with murdering my son. This illegal invader came to this country and killed an American son, my American son. To add even more insult to this, to a horrific injury, I was told by the ADA that if my son had survived and lived, even in a comatose state or a severely diminished capacity, the ADA would have charged him with a felony of gross bodily injury, and the illegal invader would have faced a 5-year felony prison sentence. What kind of system do we have that killing someone is a lesser charge than severely injuring them? So who do I blame? I blame the federal government for not securing our borders, which allowed this illegal invader to enter our country. I blame the police for not arresting him for driving illegally the 3 previous times to hitting my son. I blame ICE for refusing to even look at this case and proceed with arrest, detainment, and deportation of this killer. We have laws that are repeatedly not enforced by our city, county, state, and federal governments. Our government is directing our law enforcement personnel to simply ignore the laws, and they are even punished. They're even punishing their officers if they dare follow the laws. This illegal invader murdered my son. The illegal invader murdered any chance of me having a daughter-in-law. The illegal invader murdered my grandchildren. The illegal invader murdered my great-grandchildren. He murdered a large part of my heart.